what we believe today is that there are green shoots or catalysts which are in play at this point of time, which can give a strong boost to the overall housing theme. If I talk about these green shoots or the catalysts which are in play, uh, first would be the population. If you look at India's population, it is expected to grow till 2050. Compared to other Asian markets, the population may start declining post 2030. So if you have higher population, you require people to have various aspirational goals. One of them remains housing, and that's why we believe population and the way India's demographic is there. So when I talk about demographic, I'm giving more color to the population. Like just to give you some example on the demographic side, India's median age of the overall population is 30 years. And if I compare it with any other Asian peers like China, the median age of the population is close to 37 years. So point here is that population is growing and the younger population is growing. What will happen is that the younger population has a much better capacity of spending. Their earnings capacity is better. Their aspirations are much stronger. So spending into housing is one theme which can play out well in the coming years. That's point number one. Second point is that urbanization part, which we talk about the urban cities which are there in a particular country. India, the urbanization rate is close to 35%. If you compare it with other Asian peers, it would be close to 60-65% in that manner. What we believe, India's urbanization rate is going to go up. If that happens, you will see for urban cities to remain functional, you need to have better roads, you need to have better offices, you need to have better houses. So that's also one thing which is at play at this point of time. Third, which we believe is that whenever you go for a purchase, whether we are talking about a car, whether we are talking about a housing, the affordability is extremely important for an individual. Now, what has happened on the housing side is that the housing prices, whether you're looking at land prices, building prices, they have not moved much in the last 7 to 8 years. So from 2013 to 2020, the prices are kind of stagnated, due to which the affordability for housing has improved for individuals. So the valuations is the third catalyst which we believe at this point of time. Fourth is the availability of financing. What I mean by availability of financing is that as an individual, if you go for a purchase of a house, it's not a small ticket purchase, right? It's not like buying a 1 kg apple. It's not like buying a laptop, or it's not like buying a furniture. So when you're spending on housing, it's a big ticket size. So that's why when you are buying a house, you have to look for loans. You have to reach out to banks, you have to reach out to housing finance companies, etc. So that's also an important part for buying a house. Today, the housing loan rate is the lowest in the last 10-12 years, what you have seen. So that's why individual capacity of buying houses has improved because of the loan rate being on the lower side. That's one point which we should keep in mind. Last and the most important point is government focus is also very high towards housing as a theme. In the recent budget also, government has given a lot of focus on affordable housing. So government as a major catalyst is also playing in favor for this housing theme. And that's why we believe this theme should do well in the coming years. So when we talk about the way how we are going to construct the portfolio of ICICI Prudential Housing Opportunities Fund, one thing which we should keep in mind is that it's not a very narrow theme, or it's not a very narrow sector scheme. It's a very broad play. I'll explain that if you want to construct a house, what all you require. First, you need a steel for creating a proper structure for house. Once you have created a structure, you need to put those structure together. You need cement for that. Right? Once you have created walls, uh, around the house. You need paints to color those houses to look good, right? So once you have moved into the house, you need entertainment factor. So you need TV, you need refrigerator, you need washing machine, etc. Right? Once you have these, you need electricity to run all these items, whether we are talking about TV, refrigerator and all. And finally, once you are done with all this, you need a strong financing company also, like a bank or a housing finance company, to give you a loan also. So what I've mentioned over here is that there are so many sectors or themes which are involved when we talk about a housing as a theme. So the important factor which investor has to keep in mind, that you would get an exposure to banks, housing finance companies, you will get exposure to cement, you will get exposure to metal companies, you will also get exposure to consumer electronics, power, etc., etc. Right? So when we create portfolios, what we are going to do is that we would be having a much broader angle. When we are creating a portfolio, we would be having sectors and themes which I've just mentioned, and we would also be having much better scope of selecting stocks from a wider range. In terms of experience, when we talk about the fund manager who are looking into this fund, is Shankaran Narain and Anand Sharma. Shankaran Narain has been managing many of our funds very closely. He's our CIO equity and fixed income space. Apart from that, he's managing some of very important funds of ours like Value Discovery, India Opportunities, etc. So he comes with a vast experience. Even Anand Sharma, who is the co-fund manager for this fund, he was also involved with ICICI. Actually, he was there on the PMS platform of ICICI. He has done well, and now he is working on this theme as housing opportunities. When we talk about which sectors at this point of time we like, and we would be having some good exposure in the portfolio, is we like those sectors which are more domestically oriented sectors. What I mean by domestically oriented is that where these sectors can do well if the Indian economy does well. So sectors like banks is something which we like. Cement is something which we like, where you will see some good exposure. We like power as a sector where you will see exposure. So these are few of the sectors which we like, and you're going to see some decent exposure in the portfolio once it is constructed.